Hi, in this lecture, we are going to discuss about ChatGPT and use case for Azure infrastructure as a code. So we are going to learn what is a ChatGPT, why you should care as a developer about the ChatGPT, and finally, we will be seeing an use case of ChatGPT to create an Azure infrastructure as a code. So what is ChatGPT? So ChatGPT is a generative pre-trained transformer. Is a chatbot launched by OpenAPI in November 2022. So it is built on top of OpenAPI GT3 family, a large language model, and is fine-tuned an approach to transform learning. So with both supervised and reinforcement learning technique. So why you should care as a developer about the chat GPT? So if you see Microsoft is a big investor in an open API, the company behind the chat GPT. In 2019, Microsoft announced an exclusive partnership with open API. So in which two companies will work together to bring advanced AI capabilities to Microsoft Azure cloud computing platform and make them more accessible to the business and organization. So in short, ChatGPT is a powerful tool for the developers that can be used for a wide range of applications. So ChatGPT can help developers create more in-tune and user-friendly interface and improve the performance of their code and find the bugs in the code. So we are going to see in this use case, we are going to create an infrastructure as a code for Azure using Terraform and Bicep. So basically, we are going to instruct the chat GP to generate the infrastructure. So I'm here in the browser and search for ChatGPT, and you can see the very first URL over here, the openaa.com. And in the openaa.com, so if you are coming this page for the very first time, so it will ask you to log in. I already log in. So I'm going to try this ChatGPT option here. So it's open at chat.openaa.com. So this is the UA interface where you are going to search for any script or any question you have to answer from the chat GPT. And you can see the couple of example here, like explain quantum computing in simple term. So what I'm going to do here is I want to generate a bicep template to create an Azure virtual machine. So I'm going to type in the text box area here to create a bicep template for Azure virtual machine. So chat GPT is going to generate the script for me. Okay, so if you see this virtual machine is an Ubuntu server and SQA of 20.04 LTS. And when I go and see all this resource group name, location, and everything is been parameterized. So assume that I don't want a Linux machine here. I want a Windows machine, and I want to create this machine into the East US region. So now I am going to instruct the Chat GPT to generate a template for Azure Virtual Machine that include a virtual network, subnet, and a public IP. And I'm going to specify the Chat GPT to use the API version of 2021 for creating all the resource. And I'm going to specify the VM size as standard B1S. And this resource I want to create in the East US. Now let's see how the Chat GPT is going to generate the script for this. So all right, our script is been now ready, and it is setting the instruction to replace the password with the desired password for the admin user. So the bicep script is been ready for to create a virtual machine. I will copy this code and I will go to the Visual Studio Code and execute this bicep script and see how it is going to create the VM in Azure. So before going to there in the Visual Studio Code, I want to show you how we can able to create a Terraform script. So I'm going to take the same command, and instead of bicep, I'm going to create a Terraform script. I'm going to create a Terraform template for the Azure virtual machine. So all right, so our script has been ready now. So to create the virtual machine using the Terraform as well. So at any point of time, so if you see this, whatever the syntax or the code it is being generated not correct, you can go and regenerate the script at any point of time. So now let's copy both the scripts and go to the Visual Studio Code, and I'm here in the Visual Studio and I'm going to create a new file. So let's name it as vm.bicep. Let's go and paste the code which we generated from the chat GPT. So this is the code which we generated from the chat GPT. Now let's go and build this code and see any compile time error is there in the bicep script which we generated from the chat GPT. So I'm going to right click on this file and click on the build ARM template. And you can see there are a couple of warnings. We can ignore that, but there is an error in the line number 65. So there is an error. Let's go and check in the line number 65 what's the error. All right, so here in the network interface, it's trying to get the subnet ID. The syntax what it is being the chat GPT is being generated is not exactly the same syntax. So chat GPT is still evolving in this space. So there is a syntax error. So it's fine actually. Out of the 100 file, it's been having a single error. I'm going to correct this syntax here. Now let's go and build the ARM template again. So now this time this has been succeeded. So now let's go and right click on this chat GPT and go and visualize that in the open bicep visualizer. And you can see these are all the resources this bicep file is going to generate. So it's going to create a VM and it's going to create a network interface and a public IP, and then it's been creating a VNet and a network security group. So if you don't know what a bicep script is, so I created a video for that, an introduction about the bicep. You can go and watch that from the above link. So now let's go and deploy this script into the Azure. For that, I'm going to right click on this bicep file and click on the deploy bicep file. So let's enter the deployment name. So I'm fine with the default name. And let's go and create a new resource group for this deployment. So I'm going to name this resource group as VMRG. And I'm going to create this resource group in the East US. And if you see the resource group is been created now. So I don't have any parameter file. So I'm just going to not to select any parameter file. And I want this resource need to be created in the East US. You can see this in the bicep script. We are passing a parameter, so it is asking for the where the location you want to create this resource. I want to create that in the East US. So and it is prompting to create a param file with that value. So right now I don't want to create any parameter file. You can go and create a parameter file. So in the incremental release, you can go and select the parameter file if you have a bunch of parameters to pass. So now let's go and click on no and click on create. So let's wait for the bicep script to create the resources into the portal. And if you can see the deployment is in progress, and you can go and watch that from the below link. So I will pause this video for the deployment to be succeeded, and I will be back once the deployment has been succeeded. All right, so our deployment has been succeeded. Now let's go into the Azure portal and verify the resource has been created or not. So I'm here in the Azure portal, and you can see the VM RG is the resource group which we created. And you can see all these resources are being created. You can see the NIC, NSG group, the public IP, and finally the VM is been, and the VNet and the VM is also been created here. So that's all about this lecture. Hope you enjoy watching this. So in the upcoming session, we can see the creating an Azure resource using a Terraform template.